Okay, now this should be video if I didn't chicken out and not post the first one. But this is video 2 in sort of showcasing the work that goes into a project. In this case, Shrimp of the House 9. Still untitled as of this moment. We left off having just finished page 1. And in that time, I've gotten 6 more pages done. I'm going to show you where the story is at this point. So, we'll just kind of catch up on the story. If you remember, on page 1, David was throwing out the size changer after yet another mishap. So on page 2, we come back in and Liz is admonishing him. Are you happy now after your little temper tantrum? Yes, because the garbage man is only a couple houses down. In a few minutes, that obnoxious size changer will be on its way to the landfill. And you have Allison looking on while they're unaware. She sneaks out. Liz tells David, I said I was sorry 10 times already. I don't know why you let it bother you so much. It's not as though this is permanent. And this feeds into again, reminding an audience how this thing works in case anybody's picking up this story first without having read the first 8. And then we get another note from the narrator. Allison knew she had to rescue this treasure from the trash, but she wasn't sure why. She had too much on her mind to think about it. And then we come back and she's still looking at the tie on on this really rather crappy internet site. That tie is perfect, is the perfect present for Alex's birthday next month. But I don't have $50. And then all of a sudden, Jackson! Now. And then we cut to Alex's room. So now in this story, we'll meet Alex and Jackson. Put a shirt on. I don't want you sweating all over my benches. Don't lie, Alex. You want me to wear a shirt because I look better than you. So here's Jackson. He's the teenage heartthrob for any of you like preteens that check out the story. Of course, Alex isn't buying it. Oh my God, for the 100th time, I don't care. And for the record, you do not look better than me. In quotes. Well, if you don't care, then why do you bother denying how I look better than you? And that'll probably end up being a line that by the end of the process, it'll annoy me enough that I'll end up changing it. So that'll be an example of a line that won't stay, but it's going to stay for now. And then after all this commotion, in comes Allison. What are you two fighting about now? And now we get the joke. Oh, Jackson's trying to feel better about himself after he tried out for the football team and the coach said he was too scrawny to play, even for a freshman. That's not what he said, and you know it. You're making that up because you're mad I'm bigger than you were when you were a freshman. Okay, Jack, you're a whole inch taller than I was, but that doesn't make you bigger. I was 20 pounds heavier when I tried out for football back then. And if you want me to help you put on 20 pounds for next year's tryouts, you'll go put a shirt on. Of course, he gives up and storms out like stupid, jealous Alex. Like, Jack, wait, I need to borrow $50. $50? What do you need that much money for? Well, Alex is going to be 18 next month, and I want to get him something special for his birthday, but I don't have any money. You get the same allowance I do. What do you do with it? The first dance of the year was last weekend. I had to buy a special dress to impress Logan. You remember, she's her boyfriend from the last 2 stories. Kind of continuing the continuity. Well, then why should I give you money? I have to get Alex something too, and if you're going to spend $50 on him, that means I have to spend $100. I can't look cheap. Go ask Mom and Dad for some money. Time I asked them, they said no. And I had to be more responsible. Not even Dad would cave. And work him harder. Dad's a pushover. He'll cave eventually. I can't give you anything. Sorry. Did I hear you need money, Allie? Someone's been listening. How dare you spy on me? What else did you hear? All I heard was you saying you needed money. I have an idea where you might get some, but if you want to snap at me... I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. Can I get some money? Please tell me. Well, you could start a video channel like I did. Your computer is connected to the internet, and that got you for your birthday video. Since you have your own room like I do, you don't have to worry about anyone walking in and interrupting. Of course, this continues the idea that he's been like putting up YouTube videos, although in the universe we're not going to call it YouTube. That's basically the long-running theme since way back in the first story, is that he makes money by putting up videos. So now he's pushing Allison to do it. I won't mislead you. You probably won't get rich. I don't make as much as I let Dad think I do. But if you make a channel interesting enough, you should make a little extra spending money. And of course, that's the joke that feeds into David's ongoing fear that his son is more money than him. To sort of the acknowledgement that that like a lot of what's been said over the series has been assumption. The idea is he's making decent money, but we don't know what, and it's not as much as everybody thinks it is. So what kind of videos should I make? Oops. And then all of a sudden, David comes storming out of the bedroom again, just in time to give her an idea. I never had a problem when that thing only came out at night, but you just keep having to play with it during the day. You just won't let this go, will you, David? You heard the truck pull up. You saw the garbage man empty our bin. My size changer is gone for good, but you have to keep harping on it. And then out comes, for a little embarrassment, out comes Jackson, finally with a shirt on. I know I've been growing a lot lately, but I didn't think I grew this much. Are you trying to see what it's going to be like when I'm 18, or are you pretending to be Aiden today? Ha ha! Jackson, I'm really not in the mood for this today. Then we see Allison. I knew I saved you for a reason, but who do I get to star in my video? And that's where we're left off at this point. And over here, I've already sort of rendered the first picture, showing Aiden bounding in, looking as goofy as ever, just in time to answer Allison's question. So then we'll come over here to Pet, and we'll bring Allison out of her room, wherever she is. Select Allison. Oh wow, she's really in there. Okay, so oops. Okay, so we'll select these two and zero them out, delete the keys. So I'm coming back to select her, rotation, so that she's looking a little, so that she looks like she's coming out of her room, and to talk to Aiden. Adjust the head. Kind of diminish the smile a little bit. Open the mouth. Oh, I see. I get the wrong part. Let's see. Have her sort of like waving up her hand as if it's. She's going to be calling out to him. Oops, what is going on? Now we've got her kind of situated. Let's bring Aiden into the scene. Whoops, and there we are through a wall again. And we'll sort of change his goofy running pose. Okay. Some variety, and I think we bent the toes, so we're going to straighten them out. Then we'll hit Control D to bring him to the floor. And then move the arms. And where is the left shoulder? It comes back. And I think the forearm is bent. So and let's see how. Oh shoot! undo the camera rotation. And this is a wide shot, so I have room to separate these two a little bit. We'll rename this to number 43 and hit render. And while we're waiting, we'll grab a speech bubble, hit Control-C, put it in the clipboard, and then come over here and edit paste as a new layer. We will flip that vertically, grab it and move it over here, and we'll bring in some text. Text like that. And she will say, Aiden, come here. Aiden, come here. And I think this is a case where I want to make this too. Okay. There, now it's got my text. So condense that a bit and make it bold. And this layer has to come here. We'll grab our text layer, kind of center it over, and now we're going to start trimming and hit cut. Select that, edit, cut, select none, edit, paste as new layer. Okay, now we merge that down. Let's get the box tool again. Edit, cut, then we go edit, cut, select none, edit, paste as. Come here. There we go. Shut down, and now we've got our text. And here's our picture, finally. So we will quick look to make sure everything's okay before we save it. And we'll come over here, open as layers, come to the root folder, and there it is, number 43. Scale that down. Scale 34%. And we'll bring it up. This is the case where I'm not really sure on the picture. You know what, let's try this again. We'll zoom in a little bit more so it's a tighter shot. Get rid of some of the empty space. And because I'm not really going to delete the other picture just in case, we'll call this alt for alternate 43. We will render that one. And while we're waiting, I'll kind of point out, you might notice that there have been like some elements from David's Nightmare, which was supposed to be a fictional story within the fictional story set in his dream. So some of the elements, like her hair was dyed in the dream. Think in another one you might have noticed the girly posters in Jackson's room in a previous video, which were put up in the dream. The whole premise was that like some of these elements, the whole idea in my mind is that some of these elements occurred in real life and bothered him enough that they made it into the dream, whereas other elements sort of came in playing on his fears. So like the idea is that it was established that she had dyed her hair before he fell asleep and dreamed about it. Jackson left the girly posters before he fell asleep and dreamed about it. But the idea that Alex got his girlfriend pregnant didn't happen in the waking world. It was something that played on his fear. So at some point we might see him dating that particular girl, but the whole idea that she was pregnant and they got engaged and then married was sort of the fiction of the dream that didn't translate, that didn't come from reality. It's like I do kind of play along like that. So sometimes you'll see in a story you'll have a character say something that's not true, and it's never corrected, or they say something that later will be sort of contradicted. And the idea is that the characters, what the characters say, is not absolute as far as canon goes. People can say things that are wrong all the time, so why shouldn't the characters in the story? So I do play on that. One of the little Easter eggs, I don't know if you go back to, is it Jackson's Folly, the second story in the series? After, after Jackson makes Alex grow, and he gets the idea to work out with, he's 9 feet tall, and there's a gag where he's throwing all the weight onto it, curling it, and then says something like, "Why, that's twice what I that's like twice what I normally do." When in reality, or no, I remember what it is now. He says like, "I bet I can lift twice as much as I did before," but of course, like, it should be like 4 or 8 times or whatever it is. It's not if he's twice as big as he was before, it's not a simple twice as much. It should be like 8 times as much or whatever it is. But that's him not really knowing any better because he's bad at math. I think we established at one point. Why, that's twice as much as what I could. And I think, yeah, that's a better picture. Okay, but it's not quite right there. Okay, so that's... Okay, I'm going to delete this one since I don't want that one. This is an example of where a picture doesn't work out as I want, and I have to redo it. And I may, and I'm going to flip it, not that one, edit, undo. I'm going to flip the word bubble because I think it will work better this way, yeah. And then we'll center that. There we go. Layer to image size, fuzzy select, my generic black background, edit, cut that, and then paste what's left up here. Make that invisible. Come down here and we will select invert, select pixel, and select invert. Cut. And then select none so I can see it and merge it down. I do it that way instead of, you might be wondering, if you're not really thinking it through, you might be wondering why I don't select the piece and then grow the selection to catch that order. The reason being because when I grow it, it doesn't grab these 2 edges at the edge of the page. All it does is grow this portion here. Whereas if I invert it so that I've selected the picture itself, you can see the selection goes completely around the image, so that when I shrink it by 1, it'll come in this way and that way, as well as this way and that way. You'll get all 4 sides. And then I'll have to invert it to cut the border again. But, you know, if anybody's not really thinking about it and curious as to why I do it, that's why. Now you know. Okay, so Aiden, come here. And now here's where he thinks he's in trouble or something. So we've got to put him in a stopped standing position. Whoops. Let's grab parts I don't want here. So kind of do it close to 0, but it doesn't have to be perfect because then he looks like a toy soldier. Even though we're probably not going to see his legs because I don't expect to. This is just an example of sort of making changes I don't need to, but kind of gives me an idea of what's going on. So we're going to eliminate the smile. And we'll raise the eyebrows for a bit of a shocked look. How up? And then the eyelids. He's going to go wide-eyed. And we'll just bring him over this way. Control D to bring him to the floor. And then I'll focus on the head. And we'll just add a frown to make this look a little more of a look. And oh my god, it does that sometimes when you try and grab a piece, instead it'll think you're pulling it. Left shoulder, we're going to do is go back as if he's 44. Render, and now we'll grab a bubble. And I will Control C that one and then paste as a new layer. 180. Grab it, put it here. I didn't do nothing. Kid. Sometimes I've got to remind myself he needs to be speaking a little more imperfectly. So I didn't do nothing. You know what? I am going to split that. I don't need to, but sure. Our box, edit, cut. Merge that down, and now we will do the bottom. View, edit, cut. Edit, cut, select none. I always select none because it's difficult to see the edges and to line them up if I've got it still selected. It's easy to eyeball it without the select down. And we are still waiting for that picture. There. So I'm doing a batch of these together before they plan to release them. You know, if anybody has any questions they'd like to have addressed, feel free to post the video. You know, maybe I'll talk about them in a future video, but again, since I'm going to be posting, there'll be a bit of a lag since I'm putting all these videos, since I'm doing this before putting the videos out. And I have a feeling I'm going to be redoing this picture. You see, I've got an annoying poke through the armpit there, so we're just going to readjust that. Let me see. What can I do with that? I think. Let me try something. With Daz Studios, if you're unfamiliar, you can add something called a smoothing modifier to something like a piece of clothing. That should fix that. If I go to Edit, Figure, we come into Geometry, and there's adding smoothing modifier to the shirt. See, and there it goes. It'll basically bring the shirt over the body. That still doesn't quite look right, so I think I may have to just... Yeah, it looks better. On the other hand, I could just put the speech bubble over that and not even worry about it. That's the thing, is like sometimes you don't realize the speech bubbles hide mistakes that I don't need to fix in a picture. So I'm going to render that. And the other thing too is since I cut off a portion of the picture, I don't need to worry about what's going to be in the part that's getting cut off. So sometimes in the unedited pictures, you might see a character off over here who shouldn't be there, but because they get cut off, you're not going to see it in the book. But now, since I did that, I got to make sure I didn't accidentally save that. No, okay, 43 is the last one. Since I'm here, I'm just going to move these into the folder book 1 to clean out the root directory. See, here's all the raw pictures for book 1 lumped in, and here's the pages. Let's see, okay. And now we just wait. But yeah, if you get any questions about the process or whatever, just feel free to ask. I'm kind of generally a shy, quiet person, which is why I don't engage as much as I probably should. It's anybody asks, I'm usually more than happy to sort of jump in and answer, or if anybody has a comment, I'm more than glad to address it, more than jump in. But it's like kind of being shy. You don't really sort of think to strike. You're not the one that strikes up the conversation naturally. So it just, I'm sorry for that, but it's just feel free to jump in. And here's our picture. And yep, the smoothing modifier took care of that. The only problem with the smoothing modifier is sometimes it doesn't react well when you have clothing over clothing. So it smooths for the person, for the target, not for anything it might be. So, if you have a shirt over a shirt and it's the second shirt, the shirt on the outside that's got the smoothing modifier, sometimes you'll still have to modify it to make it fit over the inside shirt. Open as layers. Now, okay, so we go to our root directory, find the picture, and I'm just going on weird tangents here. Scale layer 33 because it's in the center. Excuse me. and select none to make sure it's not. Okay. You know what? I'm going to change that. Change this a little bit. Use editor. We're just going to add an H. There. I do nothing. I don't see him being quite that, and that means I've got to modify the box. So let's move the box over a little bit. I mean the speech bubble. Sorry. I will Control C that selection. It's not in place. Edit, undo, select none, undo, paste. Now I gotta do paste as new layer. Select none. It looks good, right? Okay, so now I'll merge that down. I'm gonna sort of bring the arm down now. Oh, down. Let's see. Bring it on down. Oops. Keep grabbing the wrong one. There we go. And why is... Okay, there we go. Even though I'm going to grab the head and focus on the head. We'll do another close-up headshot. And we're going to have her look kind of annoyed because he's not coming. Let's do a glare without... Oh, God. Again, thinking I'm pulling the object instead of selecting it. So now we will number this one to 45 and we will render that one. Oops, I need a speech bubble. I'll Control C that one and paste as new layer. Layer transform, flip vertically. I will put that there and we will go with a text bubble. I didn't do nothing, so how is she going to say this? I didn't say you did. Get over here, and we're going to make this a separate line. That's where I want to divide it. Bold that. There we go. Let's put that speech bubble where it goes. And looks good. Now we will resize this. Select that. Control C. Edit, paste as new layer. Select none. Grab it and pull it. Merge down. Now we will trim the box down. Edit, cut. Select none. Edit, paste as new layer. Move that up there. Looks good, right? It's lined up, so we'll merge down. It's really like if any of you haven't discovered this yet, you can grab these programs and put together your own projects if you want. Layers. Daz Studios is a free program. There's lots of free characters and models you can start with. There's other sites out there with a bunch of free models if you don't want to spend any money. If you just want to do something quick, you don't want to spend money. There's a lot of free stuff out there. know, it's thing with digital comics, you could set up your own like DeviantArt or Patreon page if you haven't already. Or you put together a story like this, and you could sell it on Amazon. It's anybody who might be interested. Help you chip in a few bucks to chip in some money to kind of support the work. Or if you just want to play around and do this for fun. It's sort of give you some guidance. I was playing around with this for about 2 years before I actually sat down. Was it the last video? I was talking about, I was showing you how the first story in the series is actually folder number 26, because folders 1 through 25 were sort of playing, we're sort of project, just playing with the program, getting used to it, getting an idea of what you can do with it. And, before anybody asks, well, can we see the other projects? It's going to be no, because they were pretty bad. They are pretty bad. Oops. Okay. Where are we? See, now I'm talking to you, and I'm kind of not really paying attention to what I'm doing here. I think I'm going to grab it. Grab it this way. Okay, we'll showcase her first. Twist it. I think she's looking at him, but from the looking at it, it doesn't look like it. So it's one of those things where, oh no, okay, no, I'm wrong. Never mind. Sometimes you line up the eyesight, the angle of the camera will make it look like they're not lined up. So sometimes you have to have her looking away from it, just so it looks like she's looking at him in the shot. Remember this one to 46, render that, and we'll grab a word bubble. Control C that, come to page, file, edit, paste as, new layer, layer, transform, rotate 180, and I'm not exactly sure. Let's see. Would you like to be in a movie I'm going to make and put online? New layer, select none. Did I paste? I already pasted that. Okay. Sorry for zoning there. My mind is going somewhere else at the moment. Merge down. We will cut, edit, cut. No, is where I'm starting to drift. Oh my god. Okay, let's kind of pay attention to what we're doing. Edit, cut, select none, edit, paste as, new layer. So getting back, my style of comics is sort of the presentation is a little different because initially, I think, like I said in the last video, or maybe it was the previous one, that I'm sort of designing the layout specifically as a digital product, meaning smaller screen. It's like a smaller screen. You want sort of a tighter use of space, etc., etc. So text has got to be a little bigger than I normally would have, than you might normally see. Means the speech bubbles are a little more compact. Everything is square so that they fit in the panels created in Kindle Comic Creator. I can make it that size. But some of the advice I've seen online is start off with a guide so that I can create these. I can get the pictures exactly where they need to be without putting a lot of effort into each time. Basically, turn the process of construction into an assembly line process, but some of the advice I've seen online is what you want to do is make sure that from up to down, you don't want to create what they call rivers, where you have the line dividing the panels just goes straight down the page in the same way that the line goes across the page. You don't want people following that line, you want them following the panels. And it's something I've always stuck with, except what I end up noticing is a lot of times the line at the bottom of the page will line up with the line at the top of the next page, but oh well. And then you kind of see that advice, and I was checking out some of the old G.I. Joe comics from the 80s last year, and what do I find is that's exactly what they were doing at times, was you have rivers going straight down the page. So there are no rules. And if anybody tells you there's a rule to creating a comic, then I guarantee you there's somebody out there in the professional world who's already broken that rule. But it's something I've stuck with. It seems like a good idea. It's something that makes sense. So you'll never see these panels. You will always see these panels offset from each other. And the other thing I've seen too is kind of want everybody looking. You kind of want focus of the picture directed to the center of the page, which again I don't always do. So like in this panel, sort of looking this way. Aiden's a bigger presence and he's looking this way. But for the most part, you have Aiden is the center of this panel and he's looking inward. Here's Aiden on the left looking toward the right. Allison looking toward the left. Allison's the central figure looking this way. It doesn't always stick, but some things to, little stylist things that adhere to. So let's go back and create we'll just do the last panel. They're going to be, this is where it's going to be easy because we're just going to reverse it. Since we're not going to see Allison's expression, I don't need to change her face, but we don't want him looking like he was stuck from 2 panels ago, so goofy smile. See, since it's his face, he's the focus. He's going to be looking to the left. We will renumber this number 47 and hit. Actually, I think this is going to be a smaller one. A little closer. I will grab a panel. Let's see, Control C. Come to my page, go edit, paste as new layer. And this is going to be Allison continuing what she was saying, so we'll rotate it 180 degrees so the and because she wants to dangle the carrot in front of him to make him want to say yes, here's what offers the incentive. How would you like to be in a movie I'm going to make and put online? I'll pay you if movies make money. It can be exclamation point because she's excited about it. Okay, oh shoot, and I went and hit shift accidentally. So we'll highlight that and bold it, and I can, yes, just condense this a little bit. And then we'll, oops, grabby. Control C, edit, paste as, none, edit, no. Oh, grabby. Seems lined up, merge down, edit, cut that, edit, cut that, then select none, edit, paste as new layer. So I always do paste as new layer so I can move it, where if I just do paste as or Control V, it'll paste it into the existing layer, and then I can't move it without moving the whole, both pieces. Merge down. So yeah, Daz Studios is free if anybody wants to check it out. Anybody who hasn't already, and any of you haven't already checked it out, and GIMP is free too. If you don't want to go paying for Photoshop. Okay, what just happened? Edit, undo. Okay, so now let's get that picture, open as layers. Sort of lining this up. I'm sort of trying to eyeball that for perfection, and I don't even know where the layer is going to end up, where it's going to point to. So, oh, yes, I bring them closer, I get to fit all of her head in. And I've got to move so I can see the guide. Okay, you know what we're going to have to do? Select none. Okay, see, so here's where I cut too much off, and I've just got to kind of adjust the picture so it's lined up. So I overcut, doesn't matter, so make the point a little more toward her, so we're just going to pull this in. And that's also one of the other things that sort of becomes a little problematic when I go to create the panel, when I go to assemble this in Kindle Comic Creator and go to create the panels, is when I sort of overlap speech bubbles across multiple panels. That then I have to like create the weird panels where you maybe have half a speech bubble in one and then the speech bubble next panel, and then you come into the second picture and got the other half of the speech bubble. But the idea of the panels is to let you see better, let you get a better look at the pictures or get a better look, read the text better. See, and I'm kind of doing two things at once, trying to do this while talking to you guys. And oh shoot, see, and I forgot to add the border to most of these, so we got to come back. And oh boy, oops, where is my fuzzy select? There we go. Okay, so we got to do the border before we make this page. Cut. Talking to you and I forget. Oh boy. New layer. Select, invert, select, shrink. Okay, select, invert, edit, cut. Merge that down. Next one. Layer to image size, fuzzy select, edit, cut. Edit. As new layer. Select, invert, select, shrink, select, invert, edit, cut. Merge down. Layer to image size. Nope, I don't want. Okay, there we go. Cut. Edit. Paste as a new layer. Come here, select, invert, select, shrink by 1, select, invert, edit, cut. Merge down. Edit, cut. Select, invert, select, shrink by 1, select, invert, edit, cut. Merge down, right, and select not. Okay, now I've got borders on those. We'll save that again. Let's save as. Not save as. I can save this because it's already saved as. Now we go image. We will flatten the image and we will go file export to page 8 JPEG. Okay, and now we'll come over here. Dump those 4 pictures into the book 1 folder and then grab our page and eyeball it. Aiden, come here. I didn't do nothing. I didn't say you did. Now get over here. How would you like to be in a movie I'm going to make and put online? I'll pay you money. And of course, he's excited. Oh my god, I'm going to be in a movie. That's page 8.